Hey there, welcome back to my channel. I am fresh out of bed. It's 5:30 in the morning. My hair's wet from my shower last night and I have a little bit of time to play with eyeshadow before I have to take my husband to work. So my thought today was to do a little bit of a chatty get ready with me. I want to talk about some thoughts that I've had lately regarding social media and like reels and shorts and whatnot. And my eyeshadow goal is to match some of these random colors that are in my shirt: pink, fuchsia, red, and a peach. So I've picked out 3 palettes to do that, and if you want to see what I do, then just don't go anywhere. Hey guys, Editing Rachel here. I just wanted to pop in a quick disclaimer or trigger warning regarding the content of this video. What happened was I had been watching a YouTube short the night before I filmed, and it was a video basically of a boy arguing with his parent, and I thought that the parent behaved really badly. And because I have some of my own experience with having a child from a traumatic family background living with our family, it kind of triggered me a little bit and it really bothered and upset me. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking about social media and how we don't always have that much control over what the algorithm brings up for the reels and shorts. I'll also be touching on foster care, kinship, and adoption. So if any of those things are triggers for you, this might not be the best video for you to be watching. I really didn't intend for this Get It Ready With Me to be quite as serious as all of that, but it was pretty fresh on my mind, so just wanted to give you guys a warning. So I've got the Michaela palette, where I will grab the yellow, the Flare palette from Ace Beauté, which has the red and fuchsia, and then Exotic Peacock has a peach shimmer, which is honestly, it's not a super exciting peach shimmer, but I just want to play with color today, and I wanted to do a cut crease as well. So I'm going to grab the yellow from Michaela. It's called Handy. I am so stuffy. I can feel that I'm not able to enunciate my words. I'm putting Handy right in here. I was on YouTube Shorts last night, and I ended up wasting a good amount of time there. I did this at bedtime, like as part of my getting ready for bed routine. I honestly have been doing that a lot lately. To what end? I asked myself, like, why? What was the point of that? I mean, my life in no way was made better by spending 40 minutes browsing through these short videos. Now I've got the shade Aubergine from the Flare palette, and this will be the outer crease. Anyway, so there's really no value. There's no real value in watching these shorts. At the end of the day, it's almost exclusively a time waste. And at least for me, maybe other people find value in it, like legitimate value and not just entertainment value. I don't know. Business-wise, I guess that's a different mindset perhaps, but that's not why I was watching it. It was just a time waste for me. And the worst thing was that my husband was sleeping in the next room, and I should have been with him and getting the rest that my body needs instead of watching stupid YouTube shorts. I felt kind of convicted about that lately. Like, why am I doing this? What benefit does this bring? What value does it have? There's nothing to it. There's just nothing there. And then last night it really hit home because I don't understand how the algorithms work. I think that if you linger on a video for longer than a second or two, like instead of simply scrolling right past it, then the algorithm will pick up at some level on, oh, she was interested in that, and show you more things along those lines. And then if you continue to linger, it shows you more and more things like that. And if you just scroll past, then it probably goes, okay, we're not interested in that anymore. And it offers you new things for you, to try to figure out what you want to see. What I don't like about the reels and the shorts is that you can't really control what you're seeing. You might click on one video that interests you, but then the next one is something completely different. And I don't like that because I can't control what I'm seeing. So I might click on an eyeshadow video, or I might click on a cooking video, and I'll start seeing that, and then the next thing I scroll to is some celebrity doing like a disgusting dance on stage. And I'm like, what? But why? I didn't want to see that. I wanted to see the cooking video. Like, show me more cooking videos. That's what I encountered last night when I was mindlessly scrolling, honestly. The last video of the night for me ended up being a video of a little boy sitting in a grocery cart. And he wasn't little, he was adolescent. He was maybe 12-ish, 11, somewhere in there. And he was crying his eyes out, and he was clearly extremely upset. And I don't know why he was upset. Of course, the video didn't tell us why he was upset. There's no backstory. It's just, here's a moment in someone's life, now you can react to it. And sometimes they'll put captions up, like, this is hilarious, or this is the saddest thing I've ever seen, or whatever. You know, it's and the captions, like whether or not you want them to, will help you to react to what you're seeing. So there's this young boy in the grocery cart, clearly extremely distraught over something. He was just in tears. And you know that a boy of that age doesn't often totally break down, because by that age they're starting to feel more like, you know, their hormones are starting to kick in, and they're starting to feel a little more self-conscious about displaying emotion, and there's a lot of peer pressure to be manly, and, you know, men don't cry and all that nonsense. And so that, honestly, that is what caught my eye, that there was a boy of that age who was breaking down in a shopping cart. I'm gonna take the red now, still within the Flare palette, and it's called Saffron. It's not really a true red, it's more of an orangey red. But it's pretty anyway. I really love the color story of this Flare palette. I'm putting the red in the outer corner on top of the aubergine. It's just gonna add a different color, make it a little bit more interesting. So anyway, it was like, I don't know, the first second and a half of the video, because this is a YouTube short, so the whole video was like 10 seconds long. And this little boy's so upset. Just, his face was buried in his hands. He was absolutely wrecked. And my first reaction was, oh, what is wrong? Like, what's wrong with this boy? They're in like Target or Walmart just shopping, and why is he so upset? That was my first thought. My heart just went out to this young man. And a second and a half into the video, he looks up at the woman who's next to him, I presume was his mother, maybe not, and he says, with utter disgust in his voice, he says, I hate you, very vehemently, just, he meant it. I hate you. And then the camera shifted to her, and this is obviously like kid in the cart, mother or adult standing next to him, and then somebody's filming this. And so then they move the camera to her, and she sits there for a moment, pursing her lips as though she's biting her tongue, which would have been better. If she had literally bitten her tongue off, it would have been better. And then I guess she decides to just go for it, because she leans down, and with absolute venom in her voice, she whispers, which is somehow worse than yelling. She whispers to the kid, I don't effing care. And then he like explodes, and the video ends. And the whole thing happened in, I don't know, 5 to 10 seconds. It was very short. And I watched that, and you know what? The caption that whoever had created the video or remixed it or whatever, I don't know the original, I don't know the story, but whoever created the YouTube short that I saw had put the caption, they'd written the words, something like, this is too funny, or this is so funny, something like that. I want to cut my crease, so I'm taking a concealer. This is from Maybelline. I just put it on my hand like that. And then I grab a flat C or shader brush. I have one that's a little smaller that I tend to use. And I want to cut my crease. So I'm just putting it on the brush and then cutting the crease. And so my range of emotional reaction went something like this. My first thought was, what has happened to make this young man so upset? And my heart, like especially my mama's heart, kind of melted a little bit for this little boy. Like, I just wanted to hug him. What is wrong? Talk to someone. And then I saw the caption, OMG, this is hilarious, whatever it ended up being. And I was like, what's funny about this? Like, this is still within this first second. This is my thought process. What could possibly be funny about this? Because of the video starting the way it did, I'm like, what do you mean it's so funny? What's funny? And that made me want to watch longer, which is perhaps why they put the caption there in the first place. Maybe the video was going to have some extreme surprise ending where, you know, you find out that he's not actually upset. You find out maybe he's really, really happy about something, or his soldier dad is returning home from the war. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. Like, the reason that they put that caption was because they wanted to confuse you. Because if they confuse the viewer for just a split second, you stay and watch longer. Okay, this is not the tidiest of all cut creases, but I'm gonna let it go because I have not done it in quite a while, so I'm out of practice, and there's that. And there's also the fact that I need to hurry up and get this done because I need to take my husband to work soon. So I'm gonna move on and lay down my shimmer with a larger flat C brush. My shimmer is within the Exotic Peacock palette, and it's called Wings. It's kind of a peachy shimmer. I usually build my look around a shimmer. I'm like, what shimmer do I want to use today? Okay, now what other shadows can I use? I'm going to spray this because spraying the shimmer helps control it, helps control fallout, and makes it a little bit more tacky so it stays where you put it. And I'll put that on the whole area where I cut the crease. It's going to be subtle. This is not a remarkable shimmer. And yes, I cut the crease, but there's still like yellow underneath that you can see, so it's fine. Anyway, so again, maybe they put that caption to confuse the viewer so that you stay and watch. And then my next reaction was, okay, he hates her, and he said it like he meant it. And then I thought, why does he hate her? What kind of a person is she? Probably his mother, you know, but what kind of a person is she? Whether she's a biological parent or a caregiver, or it's obviously someone with whom he had long-standing relationship for him to make that statement. I mean, this is not a good relationship. What has she done to make him feel so strongly about her? And then I saw her reaction, which was, she was like she was gonna bite her tongue, or calculating her response, thinking whether or not it was worth it to respond. Whatever she was thinking, her final decision was wrong. And she decided to go for it, and she leaned down and whispered in this venomous way that she didn't effing care. And he exploded and the video ended. And the person who was, I could be wrong, but I think the person who was filming was kind of like, they were either laughing or crying, not sure which. So this, honestly, it really upset me. First off, I never asked to see it because it showed up, the algorithm just pulled up the next thing. There you go. And I don't like that because social media can be dangerous. It can be harmful. It can be damaging, especially to younger people. I'm 34 years old. I'm old enough to know what I should and shouldn't be watching. So I don't like the aspect of the algorithm just randomly pulling up whatever, because whatever you let into your brain, it takes a long time to try to get rid of that. And if something like, there was one where Lady Gaga was up on stage performing in Vegas, and she was being extremely crass and really, really distasteful. She was talking about, oh, well, we're all class here, and it was tongue-in-cheek because she was being extremely classless. And she was saying things and doing things, she was cursing, she was tripping over stuff, she was just being a really tasteless entertainer. And saying like, well, hey, you know, this is Lady Gaga in Vegas, what were you expecting? Things like that. Why am I seeing this? I don't want to see this. I don't like it, and I don't want to let it into my brain, because then I can't get it out of my brain. That's the whole point. So I really, really dislike that feature. And all of that was just like, all of that was just distasteful. But then this video with this boy pops up, and this video was heartbreaking. That not only was this situation happening at all, but somebody was filming it. Somebody who was directly involved. Like, they were with these two people shopping. They were filming it. How long was it going on before they whipped out their phone to take a video? Why weren't they stepping in to try to mediate? Why weren't they stepping in to control the woman or comfort the boy? What was happening? And what kind of depravity was needed for them to sit there and go, oh, I'll put this on video and then I'll put it on the internet? What is that? That's horrible. I am a mother of 2 children. I love my children. My husband and I were looking into foster and adoptive care before I got pregnant this time, because we had a 9-year gap. And the more we looked into it, the more upset we grew. And not in a way that would scare us off, but in a way that made us want to help. Because there are so many really, really broken situations. So many. And they are just destroyed families, and that's heartbreaking. And I just wanted to know what was going on, and can I take this boy away from these people? Because you can't always expect children to be able to control themselves. They're still figuring out their emotions. They're still figuring out how to cope with the real world, how to deal with people, how to handle confrontation. They're still learning. Especially one of that age. It wasn't, you know, an 18-year-old kid who's, you know, almost out of the house and is just hating his parents or whatever. Although a video like that came up as well. Anyway, you can't expect adult behavior from children because they're still learning about adult behavior. But that kid's never going to learn healthy adult behavior if that's his example. It was so upsetting to me. I was so upset. And I ended up, like, I watched that video and I turned it off. I'm like, why, first off, why was that brought up for me? But more so, why was I not snuggling in bed with my husband? I think I'll pull saffron under the lower lash line. So I turned off my phone and I went to bed and I snuggled with my husband, and my heart was heavy for a couple reasons. Like, it was heavy because of what I had seen, and then it was also heavy because I felt really convicted and kind of guilty. Like, I should have been with my husband all that time, hanging out with him, strengthening our relationship, instead of wallowing in some of the world's nastiness. Or even, even if I had never stumbled upon that video, even if it were just all happy things, like circus performances and cute puppy dogs and heartwarming videos of little kids with their siblings and whatever else might come up, those things are sweet. And maybe they do add a little bit of value to your life, but not if you spend 40 minutes looking through them. It's just addictive behavior. And I don't want my life to be marked by that sort of thing. And I don't want the years to fly by with me spending all of my time looking through other people's lives. Anyway, I think I'm going to start repeating myself now. I think I've said basically all I wanted to say. I'm just upset because of the reality that is so many people's lives. That is many kids' realities. And it was really upsetting. I just wanted to, like, I turned off my phone and I went and snuggled my husband. But I wanted to hold my babies and tell them that I love them and tell them that they're safe, and resolve never, ever, ever to speak to them like that, because it wasn't even a matter of the lady cursing at the kid. That's not even what it was. I mean, that's not good, but that's not even what it was. It was like, you knew that there was so much going on outside of what you saw. You knew that there was history, that there was relationship there, that this behavior probably wasn't terribly out of the ordinary, and the level of hatred from him towards her, and then the level of complete disrespect and disregard from her towards him, that she leaned down to tell somebody that you don't care about them or their opinion or anything like that in that way. Like, I don't care. This is rude. Everyone has accepted, like, we all know, that's just rude. Why would you say that? But to tell it to a child is basically telling them, you don't matter. You don't matter, or your opinion doesn't matter, or your thoughts are irrelevant. No one cares what you think. Don't waste your breath. My heart was really troubled for this boy. And I wonder what kind of environment he deals with every day, and what kind of a man he's going to grow up into with this kind of influence, this lack of care. Like, what is this boy's future? And also knowing that this is a problem across our society, across the world, really. It was really sad. So my final thought before drifting off to sleep last night was, I think I need a break. Is it a break from social media? Is it just a matter of going on Instagram to post my pictures and not doing any scrolling or looking, just moving on? I struggle with that a bit because Instagram for me is quite an inspiring place as far as eyeshadow and art in general. Because I have an art business and I have a separate Instagram for that, and I'll go there and get great ideas and be inspired by artists who are better than me, and that encourages me to keep going and to, try new things, etc. But there's also a lot of unpleasant stuff there, a lot of stuff I don't want to see, especially within those shorter videos. And so I think, well, maybe go post my thing and then just get off the site, just move on with my day. At least I'm still sharing my own content without being attacked by unwanted content. This doesn't affect my YouTube. I'll still do my videos and stuff, but I think I might end up just avoiding the YouTube shorts and avoiding the Instagram reels. And honestly, there may be some accounts that I unfollow as well. BH Cosmetics was a perfect example. They would, I was following them as a brand. I liked their eyeshadow. But then for their Totally Plastic collection, for example, they were showing some promotional photographs, which I found to be quite distasteful. And so, yeah, I'm following you as a brand, but I don't want to see that. I just want to look at eyeshadow palettes and people using the eyeshadow palettes. It's their platform. They can post whatever they want within the rules of that platform, but I don't have to look at it. And I need to be wise enough to control what I let into my mind. I think I might unfollow some brands, and then if I want to see something from them, I can just search. I made the mistake of looking at some of the comments in that video I was telling you about. People were commenting about how funny it was, or about how if they talked to their mom like that, they would have gotten a smack upside the ears. You know, something that I've learned between parenting my biological children and parenting a child who stayed with us for a while, she was from a very traumatic family background. One of the most important things that I learned was that you cannot discipline a child from a trauma background the same way that you can discipline your own biological child. And I'm talking about in a normal, healthy family relationship. My children know that they are loved unendingly. They know that they are valued, respected, wanted. They understand the relationship between parent and child, how it's my job to raise them, to teach them, to help them, to nurture and appreciate and love them. They understand as well that it's my job to discipline them when they're wrong so that they can correct their ways and end up growing up to have a fuller, rounder, healthier life. They understand, well, my baby, she doesn't understand all that yet, but my older child does. My older daughter understands that. So when I discipline her, she knows that foundationally she is safe. But when we had a child in our home who did not come from a safe background, who had been abused in every way, who had seen her parent using extremely hard, and who ended up basically being orphaned because of it, and so much more. We could not discipline her in the same way because she didn't have that firm foundation of love. She didn't have that security. And so when you try to discipline a child from that kind of background in the way that you would discipline a foundationally secure biological child, they feel as though they're being attacked. They feel insecure, they feel unsafe, they feel that the world around them is chaos. And you will not get the same results. So you have to parent these children differently. And so learning about that, when a person would say, oh man, if I talk like that to my mom, I'd get sent into the next county. Either they're coming from a healthier family situation where they knew that even though they get smacked into the next county, their mom loved them and they deserved it. Or they're coming from a background that's messier and it was more of a fear of their mom who would discipline them with a great physical reaction, but maybe without the foundation of security. And either way, nobody within the comments was addressing the real problem. The real problem was not that the boy was talking to his parent like that, because he never, ever would have talked to his parent like that if they had a healthy relationship. Even the few comments that I read were like disheartening. Like, what is wrong with you guys? How are you not seeing the actual problem here? The fact that this young boy is reacting in this way indicates that there are huge problems within the home. You know what? And maybe he has developmental or emotional problems. Maybe he himself as a person has some issues. That very well may be. But it still doesn't excuse the parent's behavior, because even if he had problems like that, like the kid who was staying with us, she would lash out. I wasn't allowed to lash out back. My job was to be steady and consistent and control myself. And my reaction in a controlled and loving way helped create foundation for her, helped give her something to hold on to that made her eventually feel more secure and safe. If I had reacted to her the way that she was reacting to me, I as the adult cannot react that way. I need to control myself. And the woman in this situation, I assume it's his mother, but whatever. The woman in this situation did not do that. And by her not controlling herself, she made it a billion times worse. And it's not, you can't condone that kind of behavior because she needs to be the adult in the situation. So people saying, oh man, I would have been kicked into the next county, they're totally missing the point that it's not a matter of the boy's reaction to the woman. It's a matter of the woman's reaction to the boy and how she just tears him down in one sentence. All right, I am definitely starting to ramble and repeat myself. Time is getting away from me. I need to finish this look. So I'm pretty much done it. The floor above me is creaking, so my husband's getting out of bed. He's gonna jump in the shower and I'm gonna take him to work. So I'm gonna finish up with some mascara and then I'll be back to close out this video. All right, here's the finished look. I've got the shade Cranberry Pie in the NYX Butter Gloss on my lips, and I put on some mascara and a little bit of face highlighter, and that's everything. I do actually really like the way it turned out. I think it's really pretty. I think it looks pretty good considering that I was really mentally focused on something else while I was doing it, so I think it turned out nice. So those are my thoughts. I know I rambled a little bit, I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna take a break from like the shorts and reels side of the social media for a little while. It's easy to get carried away in that sort of thing, and whether it's good or bad, it ends up taking me physically or emotionally away from more important things, like snuggling with my husband at nighttime, or giving my full attention to my children during the day, or whatever. And when I happen upon something like that, it's a little bit unsettling that I have almost no control over what I'm being exposed to. I would encourage you, if you find that maybe social media is taking a little bit too much of your life, that you spend a little too much time on it, and your life is waiting for you. You know, you've got family who are waiting around for you to come to them, or you've got books to read or hobbies to begin. I mean, I have so much in my life. I have a beautiful and full life. Why am I wasting time watching snippets of other people's lives? And some of the snippets are good. Some of the snippets are not so good. And just like anything, we can consume them and lose our balance of moderation. For me, it's just something personally to work on, but I appreciate you hanging out with me. If you stuck around this long and didn't click off my video because I'm a rambler, and you know, I am very grateful for you. I hope you like the eyeshadow look. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye!